Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Saka here with another Saka Speaks On video this week. I'm not talking about video game rumors or an anticipated game. You can see from the title, I'm pretty excited. These are my impressions of the Oculus Rift CV1. Yes, indeed, I got one. I managed to get one off of eBay. And unfortunately, for now, the prices on eBay fluctuate. I seen them when I was shopping around for $1,000, $1,200. I managed to get one for $680 plus shipping, which is only about $110 more than retail, and to get it, 3 months before those poor people that actually backed it and are getting shafted. I feel for you, I really do. But this video is about my impressions I spent this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and tonight, Monday night. I'm recording this the night before, of my impressions of the Oculus. Is it worth it? What was the experience like? I will do my best to put it into words for you. I'd like to talk about my experience first, and then I was also able to share the experience with my best friend and my mom, who, different levels of gamer, so, their opinions definitely count. As far as the Oculus goes, it is as comfortable as people say they are. Once you get it fit on your head, it is pretty comfortable to wear for an extended period of time. I ended up beating Lucky's Tale in one sitting, and Lucky's Tale being developed by Oculus for Oculus, of course the VR is going to be really impressive, and I was blown away, especially in the underground sequences where it, instead of floating overhead, you saw Lucky run from left to right almost in a side-scroller Mario Brothers fashion, and that was the most impressive bit, but the entire game just beautiful to look at. The big argument about Lucky's Tale is it necessary to have VR to enjoy it? I don't think so, but it definitely adds an extra kick. I also have Project Cars, which is natively supported in Steam. If you have Project Cars in your Steam library, you can launch Oculus mode through Steam from Steam VR. So native support, and that game really shined. Being a racing sim fan, it was quite impressive. Actually, my first time in the car, I looked down and I saw my arms there, and I actually had my arms down on my lap while the game was loading. And when I looked down and saw arms on the steering wheel, there was a moment where my brain was confused and actually said, wait, my hands aren't on the steering wheel, my arms aren't up, what's going on? And that was my first experience with VR. It was a very rude awakening, but once I got settled in, it was very, very impressive. Project Cars definitely shows off the capabilities of VR in a sim. Speaking of sims, Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator, natively supported kind of. If you opt in on the beta, you can launch it in Oculus mode. Those looked really impressive. However, I did have to dial back my graphics settings just a tad in order to keep the frame rate smooth, but the scale of the trucks felt correct. Looking across and seeing my passenger seat, several feet away from me instead of right next to me like it would be on a screen was definitely cool. I did one delivery in Euro Truck and one delivery in American Truck to sort of compare the two. Very similar experiences. I did get a little dizzy, I would say, a little bit of a headache start whenever I was backing a trailer up and I was looking, behind me to park the trailer, and that was a little bit disorienting. And that's the big thing that I noticed about VR. When you're traveling a certain way and you turn your head different from the way that you're traveling, it's sort of unnerving, and I'm sure most people get used to it. I didn't really turn my head a whole awful lot while driving. I kept my vision straight, so it was a pretty comfortable experience. I also experimented with Vorpax, free software that, well, not free, but software that allows games that are supported to be basically infused with VR. Games like Fallout, Arma 3, that were not built with VR in mind, these drivers that run in the background simulate that experience, and there's a lot of settings in VorpX to fine-tune that experience. And I haven't played around a whole lot with the settings for Fallout 4. I was able to like spawn into Sanctuary and look around, and it looked incredible. When I moved around, though, that I couldn't stay in VR for long. On the other hand, I hear people who are playing Doom right now with VorpX, and they're just fine. So maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm more sensitive than the average person, but I still enjoyed it. Is it worth it? From my point of view, if you already have the computer and the money, of course it is. Like it seems like a no-brainer. Being a PC gamer at heart, I had a pretty stout PC even when the Oculus was announced, so I didn't have to do that much to my computer to bring it up to speed. Just get a 980. If you are coming in from scratch, getting one of those Oculus PCs might be the better deal for you. That way, there is no confusion. There's no guesswork. You know that computer is going to work. If you can foot that bill, go for it. But by no means is it an absolute necessity that I have to have VR right here, right now. But it is impressive. I was able to look at Oculus Video, which puts you in a simulated movie theater, and any MP4 video files that you have in your videos folder in your documents, you can play directly. So my best friend said it best. He said, why would you need a big screen TV? So for the cost of a big screen TV, you can get this VR experience, and be able to sit in a movie theater. If that doesn't sound like cool, you can give that a pass. However, my mom really enjoyed the movie experiences that VR offers. Things like Henry, Lost, and sort of the Oculus Dream Deck, where it's not a game, you're not moving around, there is no objective, but you're looking around at the environment, and you're totally immersed in this sort of Pixar movie. She definitely really did like that, and for me, that was the best part of VR. Not only experiencing it for myself, but having my best friend and my mom experience it too, and see like the biggest smile on their face. And my best friend is a sim racer like me. We've got our steering wheels hooked up to our computers. We raced NASCAR Racing 2003 season, but we were in agreement that Project Cars, holy crap, like that is the to-go driving racing sim. If you are a race fan, Project Cars VR is definitely the way to go. My mom, being a casual gamer, she plays mainly Bethesda RPGs and The Sims. She doesn't have like that gaming skill, that those twitch reflexes that are needed for most modern games. So to see her get something out of this as well was really cool. She did play Lucky's Tale, and my mom hasn't picked up a video game controller in at least 10 to 15 years. Like, she played Final Fantasy IX on PlayStation. That was like the last time that she really picked up a controller, but I handed her the Xbox One controller, and she played through, and she enjoyed her time. And for me, that was the biggest thing. If you have someone to share VR with, if you have someone in mind right now that you say, if I got this headset and I got it up to speed and working, I have to show it to, insert name here, definitely think about it, because it's one of those things that, just like everyone says on the internet, it is impossible to adequately explain. It's something that you have to experience. It's not something that I don't think translates well to YouTube. You can see the reactions of the YouTuber if they put in a face cam or, a green screen cam like I've seen. You can see the enjoyment that they are getting out of it, but you can't truly see what they see yet. Who knows? Maybe, in a couple years, there will be a YouTube where you can watch VR games with your headset on and see what they see. That's a lot of code. That's a lot of programming. That's a lot of cooperation between Google and Valve, and Google and Facebook. Since Google calls the shots on YouTube, they are the ones that have to make it happen. So it's really exciting though. However, I am happy to say VR is here. It is niche. For those of you who have a headset, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that want a headset, believe me, it does what it says it's going to do. You're going to be in worlds that when you look at it, you're just amazed. You're like looking at the scenery. You feel like you're there in some cases. From what I see, Facebook 360 video it's decently cool, but it's mainly meant for something like Samsung VR or like Google Cardboard, something for a smartphone. Really doesn't translate one-to-one with the Oculus headset. The video sort of looks grainy. It's kind of in 3D, but not really. Who knows? That may be a setting that I have off. But it was cool to do, but not something that I think that if you are a 360 video watcher, you must go out and get an Oculus Rift. No, it's definitely meant for those who game, especially sim for Oculus. If you're an HTC Vive fan and you like the games with the motion controls, I cannot speak to that. It looks cool. I'm definitely not a hater on HTC Vive. I think the competition is very healthy, and I think it will benefit Oculus to look at HTC, see what they're doing with their motion controls, and make their Oculus Touch controls up to speed. They have a massive hill to climb from what I see on YouTube. But those are just my thoughts and my opinions on VR. My very first Saka Speaks On video, I talked about VR and how excited I was for it. And now that I have experienced it, it's everything I could have wanted and more. It's everything that I expected VR to be. And the games that really have VR in the front of their minds when they develop it are the ones that look the best. Lucky's Tale, the native support of Project Cars, and the Vorpex guys, they're doing a great job. I see a lot of great things from that software. If you play first-person shooters or other sims, as they gain support, you can definitely get VR out of it for sure. It's exciting. It's really exciting. No reason to hate and think the worst about this, because this is not a flop. I mean, they've done their homework. They've gotten the motion sickness down to a minimum. They've got the smooth frame rates with the good computer. They finally got it figured out, and I am so happy. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns about my experience with Oculus Rift, any questions for me directly, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them to the best of my ability, keeping in mind that I've had this thing for 3 days now, and I haven't certainly seen everything that there is to offer. I want to get Apollo 11 VR. There's a couple other games that I'd like to tweak Vorpex around, Fallout 4 especially, and see if I can get it just a smidge better, get that motion sickness down. That's the hard work that comes with VR when it's not natively supported. But if you are excited about VR, I assure you, this lives up to the expectations in every way, shape, and form. I'm so excited to be able to share it with my friends and family. They dig it as well. And those are the people that weren't really looking forward to VR. It sort of flew under the radar. So when I come out with this headset and they're blown away, that's just really cool for me. And that alone was worth the price of admission, to see how happy they were playing and to experience that with them, with the added bonus of being able to play it myself. That's how I see it. But that's going to do it for me in this Saka Speaks On video. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold, and I will see you in the next Saka Speaks On video. Take care.